formalized as a unique competition called the Album Quest.
That's right. And the concept is, well, it's kind of genius in its cruelty, really. It's this one fan's massive music library, albums put into random groups of 4.
Like a World Cup draw, basically.
Exactly, yeah. A World Cup-style elimination.
Yeah.
And they have to compete.
And the brilliant thing about this album quest and why these sources are so good is it forces this really intense back-to-back listening. You have to rank them. Based on taste, sure, nostalgia maybe a bit.
But mostly on discovery, right? What actually holds up under that kind of pressure?
Yeah, it's a fantastic shortcut, I think, to understanding maybe the intrinsic value of the music away from hype.
And today, we are unpacking a group that generated some really fascinating results. Group 173.
Okay.
The title the author gave the bracket kind of sums up the chaos. Weird Al is not amused whilst R.E.M. get beaten down by Dragonforce.
Okay, that sounds like pure musical anarchy. So let's look at the 4 contenders. What did the album quest throw into this genre clash arena?
All right, so 4 very distinct records. First up, you had the conceptual behemoth, Roger Waters' Amused to Death.
Okay, big one.
Then the alt-rock standard bearers, R.E.M. with New Adventures in Hi-Fi.
Right.
Third, the professional satirist, Weird Al Yankovic, straight out of Lynwood.
Weird Al, okay.
And finally, the speed metal exponents, Dragonforce with Ultra Beatdown.
Wow. Waters, R.E.M., Weird Al, and Dragonforce. That is quite a group.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to figure out exactly why this ranking shook out the way it did. Because, I mean, the final result is definitely surprising.
Sure.
So let's jump straight to the winner then. Champion of Group 173, Roger Waters' Amused to Death. It got the top spot.
It did. And the appreciation for this record, reading the sources, it really stems from its almost impossible ambition. I mean, the description is basically Waters trying to recite a dense, nonfiction libertarian novel, but through prog rock.
That sounds exhausting. I mean, it's a 90-minute argument against consumerism, media, Western politics. It's heavy stuff.
Totally.
Which makes me wonder, why didn't the analysis penalize it for just being so dense, so difficult? Was it just the ambition?
Well, what the album quest seemed to find was that the uncompromising nature was its greatest strength. A key observation was, unlike, say, Radio Chaos in the 80s, this album feels like pure Waters doing what he wants to do his way.
Okay. So the lack of compromise was actually a plus here. The length, the dense lyrics.
Exactly. That's what secured the win, apparently. An artist succeeding entirely on their own terms, no concessions.
And here's a detail I loved for any Pink Floyd fans listening. The assessment notes that sometimes it sounds incredibly like The Wall. You'd swear David Gilmour was playing guitar.
Right, but that's the classic red herring, isn't it? The sources are clear that incredible guitar work, it's actually Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck, wow.
Yeah. And that decision, bringing in another legend, but a different one with his own distinct sound. Yeah. That's seen as part of the album's identity, its bravery.
And it ties in thematically, too.
It seems so. It's reinforced by that repeated musical theme, the what God wants motif that keeps coming back throughout the record. Yeah. Very menacing.
So the album quest conclusion, this one, because it was highly original and brave, depth, concept, vision that took the crown.
Absolutely. So, okay, we've crowned the intellectual champion. Now we turn to, well, the chaotic drag race for second place.
Right, the really contentious fight.
Yeah.
High-speed metal versus quiet alt-rock. Dragonforce versus R.E.M.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk Dragonforce first. Ultra Beatdown. If Waters was the brain, Dragonforce is just pure primal energy, right? Non-stop guitar.
Totally. It's unapologetic guitar overkill. The source analysis just nails it, I think. Why wait for a break to play the solo when you can just play it non-stop all over the goddamn record?
Yeah. High fantasy lyrics, high-velocity power metal.
It's just relentless. I mean, the analysis describes the sound as breathless time signatures, over-the-top dramatics. They even label it AOR on speed.
AOR on speed. Explain that one.
Well, AOR, album-oriented rock, that really polished stadium sound from the late 70s, 80s.
Sure. Journey, Foreigner, that kind of thing.
Right. But this is like that, cranked up to amphetamine levels. It's not just fast. It's still got that melodic structure, which gives it that extra cheesy flavor, as the source puts it.
Okay, extra cheese and unrelenting speed.
Yep.
So how did that beat R.E.M.? I mean, R.E.M. has the pedigree, the quality. What's the nuance?
Well, the source is pretty clear that the speed is both their biggest selling point and their biggest limitation. Apparently, Ultra Beatdown was seen as a marked improvement over their earlier stuff, like Inhuman Rampage.
Okay, so some progress.
Yeah, but the criticism is still there. If they just slow the hell down, maybe they can make real quality rock. But in this specific competition, head-to-head.
Fun factor one.
Seems like it. The pure, unadulterated fun of the speed just edged it out.
Which leads us to R.E.M. then. New adventures in hi-fi. How did they fail to compete? The assessment summed it up pretty brutally. Classy and drab versus fun and fast. Ouch.
Yeah, that's harsh. The problem, according to the analysis, was really the production. This album was mostly recorded while they were on the Monster Tour.
Right, which was already a grungier sound for them.
Exactly. And they apparently actively threw away that clinical, precise production, the kind that made Automatic for the People huge. They went instead for what the sources call a cloudy acoustic feel.
So that choice, that live, rougher, more subdued sound, that was a conscious decision that just didn't work in this comparison.
It seems that way. That murkiness was its downfall here. It got labeled a backward step, even a bit of a snore fest.
A snore fest, wow. Any good points mentioned?
Oh yeah, there were definitely bright spots, tracks that managed to pierce the murky production. Specifically, Electrolyte was mentioned, and So Fast, So Numb. But overall,
yeah.
R.E.M's subdued, maybe tired classiness just couldn't generate the excitement needed against Dragonforce's sheer energy. So Ultra Beatdown snags second place.
All right. Which brings us, finally, to the lowest ranked entry. Group 173's bottom place, Weird Al Yankovic's Straight Outta Lynwood. This feels almost wrong, ranking Weird Al dead last.
Well, the core issue here, according to this deep analysis, it isn't really about Al's talent. It's more about his whole genre feeling, well, diminished, culturally.
How so?
The argument is basically, in the age of YouTube, TikTok, whatever, where anyone can whip up a parody song in minutes, the idea of a professional, high-production parody album just feels massively diminished.
Oh, right. The barrier to entry is gone, so even with his undeniable skill and production values, the whole thing feels like a gimmick.
That's the term used, yeah, weighed down by a large feel of gimmickry. But, you know, we absolutely have to acknowledge the skill involved.
Oh, for sure.
The lyrical brilliance is there. White and Nerdy is called out for showing a breathtaking talent for rap, and Polkarama, that medley, weaving together The Killers, Pussycat Dolls, Black Eyed Peas, 50 Cent.
That takes serious musical chops.
Immense talent, yeah. Orchestration, timing, it's professional work.
Okay, so if the talent is high, why fourth place? It can't just be the cultural relevance argument. Something specific to this album must have missed the mark, too.
Yeah, it comes down to consistency and tone, especially when put up against three other albums that were, in their own ways, very cohesive. The critique highlighted a few tracks that just didn't land.
Like what?
Well, the source analysis mentioned Canadian Idiot coming across as more insulting than funny. Virus Alert was called annoying. And generally, some of the original non-parody tracks, the filler, the musical quality just dipped too low sometimes.
So when the musical quality wasn't top-notch.
Exactly. The underlying gimmick, which was already maybe feeling a bit dated or less special, had nowhere left to hide.
The lesson there is pretty brutal, then. In a direct fight, the gimmick felt weakened, and any inconsistency just tanks it.
Precisely. So, okay, let's just quickly reconfirm those final contentious rankings for Album Quest Group 173.
Yeah.
Number 1, Roger Waters, Amused to Death, Conceptual Brilliance wins.
Got it.
Number 2, Dragonforce, Ultra Beatdown, pure high-octane fun gets the silver.
Right.
Number 3, R.E.M, New Adventures in Hi-Fi, lost out on consistency, muddy production.
Okay.
And number 4, Weird Al Yankovic, Straight Outta Lynwood, penalized for the gimmick factor and maybe diminished relevance.
So the key takeaway here for you, the listener, seems to be how this whole album quest structure forced a really strange balance. The winner, highly original, dense, difficult, depth beat novelty.
The runner-up was pure, unadulterated fun and speed. And that beat-tired classiness. It's a fascinating mix, rewarding the brainy stuff and that gut-level enjoyment.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think this specific group really shows that musical taste often boils down to that fundamental conflict we all feel sometimes, right? Do you reward the highly original, maybe difficult record that challenges you? Or do you just go for the one that's simply fun and fast? These 4 records really force that subjective call.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on, especially thinking about that Weird Al analysis. If his professional model is diminishing, how does the rise of mass self-publication, viral content, TikTok trends, how does that fundamentally change how we value professional high-production parody music today? What even makes a musical joke feel legitimate or worthwhile in 2024?